Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome inside Tarble Pavilion, the site of today's Centennial Conference matchup between Swarthmore College and McDaniel College. Bob Long, Jacob Brady alongside. Well, Jacob, after the very close matchup that was earlier this week against Ursinus, Swarthmore, a bit of momentum coming into this one, still unbeaten, still the number one team in the country. And McDaniel at this point struggling in the Centennial Conference, still last at this point, trying to find their way up the standings. And this is a huge opportunity on the road. This should be a good one.
Yeah, definitely some momentum for the Garnet. Shots weren't really falling in that game against Ursinus, but really turned it around over those last 5-6 or so minutes of that game. Three-pointers started hitting. Ryan Ingram, Connor Harkins, both having some clutch shots down the stretch. It was a good defense that stymied the Garnet for some of that game, and McDaniel certainly does have a good defense. Hasn't been the issue for them this season. Scoring has really been the issue. Only team in the conference averaging below 60 points a game, but their one win this season, that's over Haverford, the team that currently sits third in the Centennial Conference. So they definitely can perform in big games. Caleb Johnson went off for 32 points in that one, so definitely can stay competitive with some of these bigger teams.
It's also the Access to Success game, Hoops for Hope, as they are collecting lightly used sneakers and raising money for a great cause here. Many thanks to the Swarthmore program who have put this game on. You see quite the packed house on the Swarthmore side of things. It's a similar crowd on the side that we sit off camera. Should be a good one, and now time to introduce the starting lineups for the Swarthmore Garnet. Vinny D'Angelo gets the start at point guard. He has been so good in his first year out of Sun Valley High School. George Visconti, a long guard that can do a little bit of everything, a great shooter, one of the best foul shooters on this team, and a great defender as well. Connor Harkins got the things going in the second half, brought the energy, hit some huge shots, and was a big part of the reason that Swarthmore came back and won that game against Ursinus. And then the two bigs, Zach Odell and Nate Schaefer inside. They've played 3+ years together, and they've kind of grown together as their careers have commenced, and now we're coming towards a conclusion here at Swarthmore. Schaefer and Odell, a task down low for any opponent.
And I'm excited to see if Vinny D'Angelo can stay out on the floor for longer than he did against Ursinus. Went to the bench 3 minutes into the first half on Wednesday night thanks to 2 fouls right there. Sat out for the rest of the first half, then played most of the second half. Was very impressive diving to the cup in that one. Such an athletic guy, not, the biggest guard per se, but so quick, so shifty, has a real talent for getting to the basket, and also a proficient passer in his own right. If he can facilitate this offense for a longer stretch of time in this first half, I don't think we'll see those similar offensive issues that plague the Garnet in that game against Ursinus.
Jacob, you mentioned some of the struggles that McDaniel has offensively. 3 guys, though, in double figures this year. Mike Wallace, Josh Sproul, and then Caleb Johnson, who you mentioned earlier, went off in an earlier game against Haverford College. It's Kalen Keneally against Nate Schaefer. Maybe jumping the gun was Schaefer, but Keneally never left the floor, and we're underway. McDaniel in a man-to-man look as Visconti gets a touch on the wing. Rolling off that ball screen, D'Angelo with a head fake in the corner. Pulling up in the lane, no good. And a nice box out and rebound by Josh Sproul.
He definitely has had a tendency to settle for those mid-rangers at time. If he's finding himself not getting to the basket, I'd like to see more of a kick there. You've got some good three-point shooters spread around him. Of course, Harkins and Visconti out on the floor.
That's a pretty good look from the baseline. Keneally, no good. Brought down by Schaefer, and that's a travel. It's going to give it back to McDaniel. Schaefer just doing his best to wrestle that one away, but unfortunately for Swarthmore, there was no joint possession or anything of that nature, so the steps were evident, and it gives it back to McDaniel. Fresh 30 on the shot clock. Here's Sproul. Runs through a double, lobs up on the weak side. Kalen Keneally just wasn't looking. There's actually a pretty good distribution. There's a kick ball. Swarthmore basketball, they'll inbound on the baseline.
Definitely see the focus of the McDaniel defense so far on Nate Schaefer as D'Angelo was going for that pass. Basically 3 guys sort of in a cup around Schaefer.
Odell got his own rebound on the tap back. Visconti now for D'Angelo. It's good for 3. It all started with a mismatch inside. Josh Aruda, the sophomore guard at 6'1", guarding Zach Odell. Actually coerced the first miss, but then the rebound follow, and then a kick out. Swarthmore leads 3-0.
D'Angelo, 42% three-point shooter on the season. Garnet really able to spread the floor right now with those 3 shooters out there.
Here's a drive inside, some contact, and a finish for Josh Sproul, the sophomore guard out of Washington Academy in Maryland.
Great job right there, just bouncing off of Schaefer there, using actually that contact to open up a little space for himself, and then laying it up and in.
Schaefer at the elbow. Skip pass for D'Angelo, who cuts to the lane. Good finish.
It's really his talent right there. So shifty inside, just sees that small gap, changing all of his momentum to just shoot through there and all alone beneath the rim.
And Jacob, to your point there as well, being able to knock down that first 3, calls as well as to come out on the closeout hard, and D'Angelo able to get that little bit of a head fake with the eyes and get to the bucket. 7 on the shot clock. Inside they go for Keneally. The big man will have to fire. Tough shot, no good. Schaefer brings it down. This time does keep the pivot foot. Inside, good catch by Odell. Patience, baseline, good left-handed finish. 7-2 Garnet.
So strong, Odell right there. Garnet definitely have an advantage inside. Keneally, sure, maybe has an inch on both of them, but a clear strength advantage for both Schaefer and Odell, and you can see that, using that to their advantage early on.
Good contest in the lane by Nate Schaefer. Here comes D'Angelo without a ton of numbers, and Harkins was heading down the floor of the end. D'Angelo was expecting a stop and a giveaway. 16:41 to play first half.
But I do like that decision in spite of the turnover by D'Angelo, recognizing that he didn't have the numbers to keep pushing. Earlier in the season, he might have just put his head down and tried to attack all the way to the basket, but that time smart to try and slow it down, obviously, the turnover occurring, but still better decision-making from the freshman.
Ryan Ingram checked into the game, along with Michael Caprice and Colin Shaw for Swarthmore. Skip pass, Johnson with the basketball. Swarthmore in the man-to-man defensively. A high ball screen from Keneally. Wallace fights through the lane. Good look for Keneally, and he finishes it. That time drew Michael Caprice, and it left Keneally all alone on the weak side block. Odell inside, right up with it, and hits it right over the left shoulder. And again, there's that mismatch, Jacob. Aruda, 6'1", the sophomore, on Odell.
I got such great touch around the basket, knows that he has an easy time elevating with that one, gets to his spot right in front of the basket in the lane, and a nice soft hook.
Johnson with a drive. Caprice brought the arms down, violated the verticality plane, and 2 shots up coming at the line for Caleb Johnson. One more look, and there's the contact on the wrist. Johnson, for as good of a scorer as he is, only 58% from the foul line on the year, missed the first. One of two for Caleb Johnson. It's a 4-point game. Abbas Salah and Justin Tucker onto the floor. Shaw wants the high ball screen from Caprice. Ingram with 13 to shoot. Caprice has fed the ball inside. Tucker with 6. It's Abbas Salah who'll launch the three. Back iron, no. And some contact there. Tucker is hurt. Foul on the play. We'll keep that here. There's another look. Right into your living room comes Justin Tucker. Josh Aruda called for the foul. That's a dangerous play there, Jacob, as well. Tucker leaves the floor, and Aruda goes backing into him.
When you undercut a guy like that, a lot of bad things can happen. Good to see that Tucker just shaking up maybe a little bit on the play, but able to walk it off.
Salah inbound for Swarthmore. Box look. Ingram spots up for three. Big rebound by Caprice. He's blocked. Getting up high, Greg Scarborough. Wallace off the ball screen. Scarborough kicks to the corner. Now he looks for help. Johnson off the ball screen. 8 to shoot for Josh Aruda. Aruda off a double screen, pulls up at the foul line, too strong, but he got his own. And a foul is called against Abbas Salah. Boy, he really put his head down here. If it wasn't for Salah, he was going to lose that ball. But Salah, a little contact on the lower body. First against Salah, second on Swarthmore here in the first half. Keneally drives his way into the lane, and Johnson with 6. Some contact, no. Keneally, that never hit the rim, and now he's fouled on the way up. Just 2 seconds left on the shot clock, Jacob, but Kalen Keneally to the line for 2.
He got bailed out there, obviously, by the foul, but that's a good job maintaining his position there, going up for the rebound with Schaefer behind him. You saw initially really nothing he could do to try to move Schaefer. He was working with his back to the basket, but that time standing his ground inside the restricted area, able to pull down the offensive carom.
The charity stripe already becoming an early liability here for McDaniel. Keneally misses the first. He goes 1 of 2, but already points being left on the board in multiple possessions to the stripe. 9-6, 6 minutes into the basketball game. And Shaw just gives it away. Some miscommunication there for Swarthmore. Underhanded forward, too strong off the glass. Not even close there for Johnson.
Fantastic job by Shaw in the contest, maintaining the space and just staying vertical there, not trying to do anything too fancy, but just making that shot tougher for Johnson.
A lot of contact inside between Nate Schaefer and Greg Scarborough. Watch this. Scarborough is not backing down. There should be a travel, and there's your call. Tail end of the shot clock. Schaefer spun to the baseline, and some film study being done by Kalen Keneally as he crashed right to where he was spinning.
Yeah, they're knowing exactly what to look for and just preventing Schaefer from getting any sort of space there by sandwiching. You can see a little bit of frustration early on from Schaefer. There's definitely been a lot of contact with him. The forwards from McDaniel have been allowed to play pretty physical with him, and I don't know that he's completely happy with some of the contact that's been allowed.
No doubt about it. That move in particular, I felt kind of predetermined on Schaefer's part. He knew he was going to spin back to the baseline regardless of whether Keneally was there or not. And I do think the physicality from McDaniel, it's something that the head coach, Kevin Curley, has stressed. Just 4 seconds on the shot clock. Pretty good shot there, and he hits it. Jay Colbert, the freshman guard from Broadneck High School in Glen Burnie, Maryland.
It's a good 25 seconds of defense there by the Garnet, but that time the screen just opening up a little bit of space allowed him to step into a 2 and knocked it down.
Here's Zach Odell. He's been really good thus far. Great footwork. Thought he was fouled there by Keneally. Surprised to see no call. And McDaniel will hold this one up at the urging of the head coach, Kevin Curley, as he was running step for step along the bench. So McDaniel, they've withstood an initial surge by Swarthmore. The offense has died down for this Garnet team. And McDaniel can take the lead. So that one's out of bounds. McDaniel basketball with 5 to shoot.
And we've definitely seen these times where the Garnet fall into a bit of a offensive lull, but now the substitution of D'Angelo back in for Salah, trying to inject a little bit of offense back into the affair.
A late substitution here. Caleb Johnson checks out. Josh Sproul checks in. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Visconti to guard the inbound. Keneally, good high catch. Drives to the lane, and it's given away. Good defense there by Nate Schaefer. It was a good recover by McDaniel to force Swarthmore into the half-court set. Now Odell. Give and go there. Rebound for Schaefer. Shot clock does not reset, and a big block by Keneally.
Nice job just standing over top of him and reaching up cleanly for the block.
Shot clock did not reset. That's why we have a whistle here. One more look, a clean block from behind. So McDaniel will get it with 27 seconds on the shot clock, 11 minutes and 32 seconds to play in the first half.
Garnet have been able to rebound effectively. They just haven't been turning those second chance opportunities into points because you see the McDaniel defense just collapsing on the rebounder and not allowing either a clean shot or even a pass out.
Swarthmore stays man-to-man. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Stephen Lang dishes it off. Now 4 on the shot clock. Colbert hits it. McDaniel with a 1-point lead. Visconti for 3. Gets the answer. A shooter's roll, to say the least.
I'm not quite sure on the physics of that one, but a 2's a 2.
That was indeed a deep 2. Foot was on the line. Here's Keneally with his back to the basket. They want to feed the big man. Keneally, tough fall away. And a good rebound by Odell.
Yeah, really just hasn't been able to move Schaefer unless he wants to be moved.
Now Schaefer has a size advantage. Spins to the baseline. Couldn't finish. And McDaniel brings it down. Schaefer may have gotten away with a bit of the arm extension there with the off-ball elbow. Trying to impose his will offensively and defensively. There's another finish by Jay Colbert. Timeout called by Landry Kosmalski. And it's a lead once again here for McDaniel. 12-11, halfway home here in the first half.
There's definitely been some impressive shot making from McDaniel early on. We've seen, some floaters where they're going back across their momentum. Even that shot right there, the scoop over a couple of taller defenders. It's been some impressive finishes from McDaniel so far.
Bob Long, Jacob Brady here for the Garnet Sports Network, your place for everything Swarthmore men's basketball and everything Swarthmore athletics as a whole. Swarthmore, the unanimous #1 team in the country, coming off a physical win on home floor earlier this week against Ursinus. Got to be careful in games like these not to come out flat. See out of this 30-second timeout. And Swarthmore can handle the McDaniel man-to-man defense. The Green Terror dressed in all yellow today, as it turns out. Odell spins inside. Good kick to the baseline. D'Angelo in and out for three. Swarthmore now 1 of 4 from beyond the arc here today. McDaniel has not attempted a look from beyond the arc. Let's see if they keep feeding Colbert, Jacob. He's been good coming off the bench in more recent minutes. Stephen Lang. Here's a three. No good. And does stay in play. So it allows the Garnet to run the fast break. Ingram in rhythm. No good there, and a big rebound there by Connor Harkins. 16 on the shot clock. Odell couldn't finish, and this time a rebound by Sproul. A good box out to keep Odell off the glass. Thought about the three again. Now a drive inside, a jump to pass, and they'll reset with 7. Colbert. He'll have to put it up. Got it off and hit it. 3-point lead for McDaniel.
Again, some really impressive finishes out of Colbert. There's another one right there. But this lack of three-point shooting has definitely been, or certainly has the possibility of hamstring McDaniel down the stretch. Only 29% as a team from beyond the arc. You can see that their first instinct, even when they have these more open shots, is to drive, to look off that open shot, but it forces them to get deep into the shot clock, and they've been getting a little lucky with some of their finishes.
Odell stayed with the basketball. Could have been a travel there. Now D'Angelo all the way through traffic. They waved it off. They said that the foul came at the foul line. A restrictive definition of continuation there. As there's the foul, perhaps the right call, but Swarthmore's bench, none too pleased. Jacob, to take it back a possession or two, I did think that Colbert got that off just a half second late. So difficult to make that call in real time, and without the ability to go back for a replay at this portion of the first half, nothing Swarthmore can do on that one.
I mean, obviously your instinct as a referee is if you think it's close, then you got to give the benefit of the doubt to the shot going off.
George Visconti got into the middle of the defense there, and a good finish to cut the deficit for Swarthmore to 1. Caleb Johnson with it now on the wing. Cutting is Colbert, kept the pivot foot, and a good hand in there, the passing lane. Nate Schaefer eliminated that lane. Back cutting. Colin Shaw, what a finish. Great recognition by the sophomore, and a timeout called by Curley, taking advantage of the McDaniel defense's aggressiveness.
It's a fantastic pass right there by Visconti. All of these guys for the Garnet really adept in the passing game. That time Shaw initially collapsing towards Visconti, then coming off of him, that little curl into space, and then an open path to the basket for a good finish.
6 minutes, 46 seconds to play here in the first half, and Swarthmore, it's the off-ball movement in the last few possessions that have allowed them to be successful. The big one was the last one. There's your back cut. Shaw goes up high and gets a nice finish over the longer Josh Sproul.
offense has definitely been slow in this one for the Garnet, and we've definitely seen this happen at times. You know, in spite of the #1 ranking, it's not like they've completely dominated every team they played, especially not throughout the entire game. They have stretches where they sort of cool off. You see them going through one of them right now, but the mark of a great team is the ability to fight through those stretches where things aren't going right, and that's what they've done consistently all season.
No doubt about that. I'll tell you what, Jacob, there are not many teams out there at any level of basketball, let alone D3, that have a goose egg on the loss side of the win-loss column. Keneally was wide open, couldn't get it there. Now it will be an open three for Colbert. It's good. And Jay Colbert, an early storyline here for the Road McDaniel Green Terror.
I definitely needed somebody to step up, just as Johnson did in that win over Haverford. Right now it's Colbert. Give him 11 points through this first half.
Visconti pulls up. Everything but the finish. It was halfway down. Swarthmore in a 2-3 zone. Haven't seen this much out of them, but I like the switch coming out of the timeout. Force this McDaniel team to score another way. 5 seconds. Keneally spots up and hits it. Timeout called by Landry Kosmalski. A few things to talk about for this Swarthmore team, mostly offensively minded, to be honest, Jacob. That wasn't a bad defensive possession. The last one from Colbert hit a long three at the end of the shot clock, but really what happens is those shots seem to hurt a little bit more when the offense is struggling, and that's the case right now for Swarthmore.
I mean, there's definitely a sense of morale to it, and obviously when you're struggling to get things going, you know, Visconti, when he sees his shot, swirl around, hang on the rim for about a second, and fall off. And you combine that with the tough finishes that are going in on the other side for McDaniel, definitely sort of compounding, but good timeout there from Landry. Just talk it over, try to get their heads back in it, get the morale back up, and a little bit of a change to the lineup out there. Got Salah handling now.
It's a McDaniel team that's 5-11 on the year, 1-8. A full game behind Dickinson in the standings for last place in the conference. Right now, a 4-point lead in the later stages of the first half against the #1 team and undefeated Swarthmore Garnet. Here's Odell in the lane. Harkins with 6. Poked away from behind. A foul called against Kalen Keneally. He's a 6'8 sophomore. Another look. Just a grab from behind. Probably not something you needed, down to 5 seconds on the shot clock, Jacob. Doesn't hurt, though, his first, team's third. A fairly clean first half.
I do like that initial aggression from Odell, just trying to back down Keneally. Again, has the strength advantage. In general, that's either going to result in a shot or open up a pretty good passing lane.
Ryan Ingram, no good. Rebound here for Harkins, and then they reset it to 20, and yeah, we got a stoppage here. There was a significant issue. That clearly hit the rim on the shot. It didn't reset the shot clock immediately, and then it reset it to 30. Another second goes by, it resets it to 20, and the officials now will huddle on it again, and that's the right decision, is to take it down to 20. There was enough confusion that the official thought it worthwhile to blow the whistle, and I agree. An issue on the scorer's table there, but it's been figured out. They actually ticked it down to 19 as it took a second to figure out the issue. But now we're back underway, 13 on the shot clock. For George Visconti, a pull-up and hit. Big time from George Visconti right when they needed it.
It's a good job right there. We saw those sort of the mid-range game definitely out of Cam Wiley a lot, where he could just channel all of his forward momentum into upward momentum. Visconti showing off a similar game right there, getting his defender out of position because he thinks he's continuing his drive and just pulling up for 2.
Numbers here for the Garnet. Visconti, offensive foul. What a job by Mike Wallace to set the feet. That is positively the right call. Visconti just a bit too aggressive, runs through. Wallace standing still, well outside the restricted area.
That's a great job there. Of course, by Wallace just getting set. And, you know, I think Visconti basically had made his mind up once he got that basketball in his hands. He was getting to the cup and scoring if he could. And that time comes back to haunt him.
Zach Odell took the ball away from the player out of bounds. And there's going to be a technical foul called against him as a result. It's being discussed and right in front of us in the center of your screen as Odell comes off the camera feed to speak to his head coach, Landry Kosmalski. So one shot for Mike Wallace. It's a technical foul called against Zach Odell. That will count as a personal foul as well. And then McDaniel will get the ball right back where they started. In and out for Wallace. But the bigger issue there, Jacob, is another foul for Zach Odell. And I believe that's his first for the game, but generally speaking, not one you needed to pick up. I was lip reading there with Landry Kosmalski and observing the demonstration essentially. And what the McDaniel did was kind of reach the ball out, and Odell kind of took it from him. And the referee said, well, then he brought it back. Odell exerting a little bit of revenge there. Now the shot clock needs to be reset to 29 seconds since that was indeed a touch of the ball. Now the officials seem to be at least at odds with one another. What is going on around here?
Who thought an inbounds play could get so contentious?
No doubt about it, and we are underway after this commercial break. I tell you what. 16 on the shot clock. McDaniel with a 2-point lead. Keneally had his foot on the line, thought about the three. Wallace with 4. Colbert can't hit that one, and Odell brings it down. Salah runs the break. Visconti, the trailer, short for 3. Great work by Connor Harkins. Swarthmore basketball.
Don't really talk about Harkins very often as a rebounder, but throughout this first half, he's been really fighting underneath the glass. Couple big second chance opportunities that he's generated for the Garnet, and now forcing that ball out of bounds off McDaniel.
This time he draws a foul off the ball. 4th team foul against McDaniel. Just the first against Josh Sproul. Good work in there by Keneally at 6'8". Got the long arms up to get the steal. Wallace through traffic. He's fouled by Odell. Looks in the scorebook as if they are only saying one personal foul for Odell. So unlike the flagrant one, that technical does not result in a personal foul. That is Odell's first. And now the scorer's table just said his second. So we got a discrepancy between the scoreboard, which I would feel is the case, and what's being listed online on the scorebook, which says one personal, one technical. But I believe the scoreboard to be correct, 2 personal fouls for Odell. We'll get that clarified at the half. 3 minutes left in the first half. A pull-up. Boy, there's a lot of motion there to get that one up in the air from the elbow, but it finds its way through the hoop. Josh Sproul for 2. Harkins, no good on that 3, and another good rebound by Greg Scarborough. And McDaniel, Jacob, will slow this down, up 4 with some momentum on their side.
Garnet only 1 for 8 right now from beyond the 3-point line, and actually make that 1 for 9. Got a little bit of a sense that Harkins, a little bit of a chuck there.
A jump ball as George Visconti reached in and took the ball away. When he's in the court of play, it's legal. On an inbound, perhaps not. There's the point of demarcation. Alternate possession will keep it with McDaniel. Just 6 seconds left on the shot clock. 2:16 left in the half. Let's see what design play McDaniel might have. Colbert puts it up, doesn't get any rim, and a shot clock violation. Great defense by Swarthmore.
They've been holding McDaniel to the final seconds of the shot clock consistently, but we've just seen some very impressive finishes. That time, of course, not the case, and the Garnet would do well to get some offense on this possession.
Odell with his back to the basket. And there is an embellishment call. Went down like a ton of bricks. And I do think that's the right call. One more look. Wasn't much of an extension with the off arm. That, I think, is what the official would be looking for otherwise. Did not dip the shoulder either, how shall I say.
Yeah, and the referee has a perfect view of right there. If he sees that discard foul on Odell, but it's going down easy that time.
Good basket cut there, counted and one. Colin Shaw off the back screen, got to the weak side block. Good find. I'll tell you something, Jacob, just an observation. This officiating crew, another look at a great back cut and finish. They're collaborative, I'll say. I don't know if there's discourse or discord, but they are collaborative, no doubt about it. And communicative.
Communication's always a good thing.
Now McDaniel back the other way. Their lead has been cut to 1. 1 minute, 43 seconds left in the half. And Visconti again got his hand in the passing lane. Here's Vinny D'Angelo leading the break. Odell with a good catch. Shaw for 3. No good. They've been halfway down here today, but Swarthmore can't get the finish. It's a good offensive possession, Jacob.
Yeah, I mean, the looks are consistent right there. Shaw, plenty of space in the corner to let fly, but just basket a little tight today.
Shaw comes up with it. And a foul called against McDaniel, just the team's 6th. One more look. There's the hands there. Foul is called against Mike Wallace, his 2nd. Final minute of action. McDaniel 21. Swarthmore 23. George Visconti counted and won, and a chance for a 4-point play.
Huge right there from Visconti. You got the sense that eventually one of these had to fall. That time, Visconti launching from straight away. That's his favorite spot along the 3-point arc. Contact didn't matter. When he finds a spot he likes, he's going to hit.
Full timeout here on the floor. Chance to remind everybody that you're watching us here on the Garnet Sports Network and that we are here for every single Swarthmore men's basketball game as well as many other Swarthmore events. Bob Long here on play-by-play. Jacob Brady is with me on color commentary. This is the Access to Success game here at Swarthmore College. Hoops for Hope is the fundraiser, as they're collecting lightly used or new sneakers that folks are so generous to donate. Fundraising as well. Lots of great food out there, lots of great apparel that you can buy, all for a wonderful cause. Organized by the coaching staff, most specifically Ryan Ansell, who has really taken this thing from soup to nuts. And many thanks to him and for the whole Swarthmore community for being part of such a great concept and fundraiser. We're up close and personal with Kevin Curley inside the McDaniel huddle. This is inside access right here, Jacob. 50.1 seconds to play.
Baseline camera definitely adds an interesting touch.
I'll say. All right, we'll get this one back to the floor. George Visconti shooting one at the line. A look from high above. George Visconti hits the foul shot, and Swarthmore with their first lead in some time. They lead 24-21.
Daniel, if they can get this shot off within the next about 10 to 15 seconds, chance to go 2 for 1, of course, and perhaps take a lead into the locker room.
Yeah, I don't understand why you don't do that here, but Caleb Johnson with it now. That opportunity has expired. Gets to the basket, blocked by Zach Odell. Shot clock is turned off, and I think Swarthmore will hold it up here. They want to assure themselves that they go to the half leading, and a chance to extend this to a 2-possession game.
8 seconds, the magic number.
Down to 4 seconds as Visconti pulls up, tough shot, and hit it. What a finish to the half for the sophomore. George Visconti bangs his chest on the way to the locker room. And a flourish here for Swarthmore to end the final minute. Some Uncle Mo heading into the half as the #1 team in the country on a tough offensive shooting day leads 26-21.
I mean, that's a huge turnaround over those last couple minutes of the half. A 9-0 run the Garnet string together, including that 4-point play from George Visconti, the 3, and hitting the foul shot as well. Couple pull-up 2s spread in there as well. A great offensive day for him, while others have struggled maybe a little bit. 12 points now for Visconti heading into the half, and definitely some momentum, finding that basket just starting to creep open a little bit.
26-21, your score here at the half. You're watching the Garnet Sports Network. Bob Long, Jacob Brady alongside. We'll be right back for the beginning of the second half. Give us just a few minutes.
Why choose Swarthmore? Wow.
I don't know how to say this in like one interview.
There's just like this magnetic secret on campus that people really can't describe.
The campus itself is beautiful.
I was absolutely floored when I first came here. A lot of it came from the values that SWAT has.
It truly is the people that make this community. All my memories are inseparable from the people that were around me.
I applied to Swarthmore through the Questbridge National College Match, and it's a program that matches high-achieving, low-income students with really selective institutions like this.
I knew I wanted to play basketball in college. Basketball was a tool that would enable me to get a great education. In high school, I was kind of pressured by the standard to play Division I, but I wanted to pave my own way.
It chose itself for me, and I knew at a more pre-intellectual level that this was the place.
And one of my favorite things and my favorite takeaways of this place has been the community.
I've been lucky to experience what learning is like at other institutions, and I'm very thankful that I did that because that completely changed my perception of Swarthmore. It made me realize that Swarthmore is special in these very small and unique ways that actually make an enormous difference.
The reason I'm so involved on campus is because I feel like the things that I do here matter. You can actually enact meaningful change.
When you're walking around campus, like I don't feel like I'm just walking by a bunch of strangers, and being in these smaller settings, like it gives you the opportunity to build strong relationships with people that also have like a vested personal interest in who you are as a person.
It totally tailors itself to like every type of person. You can come here and be anywhere on any spectrum, and you'll be pretty well welcomed.
You'll find that the people here are here for you. I was able to find really good, deep personal growth. And Swarthmore has been that formative experience that the community allows me to have that space that I can have that growth.
I have incredible mentors who have helped me at every step of the way, which I'm really thankful for. And I don't think I would have that same type of individualized attention and recognition at a place that's not Swarthmore.
Garnet, as recently as 7 years ago, could not have envisioned this, but in succession, every year has been a record-setting year.
Will drive the Euro step into the layup. On the floor. A big time finish from Nate Schaefer.
Welcome back inside Tarble Pavilion. Bob Long, Jacob Brady here for the beginning of the second half. Piece of housekeeping from the first half. The technical foul to Zach Odell. Scoreboard had him with 2 personal fouls, meaning that technical would have counted towards his personal foul total. And the scorebook had just 1 personal and the technical listed separately. Went down to the scorer's table, figured out what was going on. A Class B technical foul was called against Zach Odell, which means that it does not count towards his foul total, so he just has the 1 versus the 2. I was thought that was going to be a Class A technical. It was not. We'll read off the definitions here. Class A technical foul involves unsportsmanlike conduct or behavior by a player, substitute, coach, or bench personnel. As Odell, no, make that Nate Schaefer cut to the hole. Big time finish. A Class B technical, an infraction of the rules that neither involves contact with an opponent nor causes contact with an opponent, and falls below the limit of an unsportsmanlike act. I thought it was going to be Class A because there was contact with the opponent. Nonetheless, it's a Class B. Zach Odell with just the one personal foul as we head into the second half.
I don't know if this is a directive from the coaching staff or just one of those things that happens, but I feel like the Garnet, as we get another look here, managed to get a dunk in basically every game out of the locker room coming to start the second half, and Schaefer doing it right there. Garnet got some momentum going towards the end of that first half. That's a nice way to keep that momentum going from Schaefer. Just got to string together some stops.
The Garnet back the other way. Here's Harkins out near the three-point line. Schaefer drives to the hole. Good finish. And clearly a directive out of the locker room. Get the big man involved. He's got 4 early on in the second.
Yeah, that's using his strength to get Keneally out of position. We've said has that size advantage. Use it if you can.
A whistle here. Timeout called by McDaniel. And Swarthmore all over the floor early on. There's another look at the finish by Nate Schaefer with the left hand. Swarthmore 30, McDaniel 21. A quick 4-0 spurt from the Garnet to begin the second half. And you get the sense that Swarthmore is trying to come out and put away a team here in McDaniel that had a lot of success slowing them down, taking shots late in the shot clock, and benefited from an off shooting day thus far from Swarthmore. Kosmalski and the team looking to get the ball inside, bring the pressure defensively, and get this McDaniel team out of their comfort zone.
Sometimes you just got to put your head down, try to impose your will in the paint, and that's what Schaefer is doing to start off this game. Then on the other side, we see, of course, Zach Odell getting actually his foot in there to try and force the jump ball, and ultimately resulting in a timeout out of McDaniel to prevent either the held ball or the travel.
Here's Wallace with it, a left-handed dribble into the lane. Caleb Johnson open for 3, no good, and D'Angelo brings it down.
That was a good look right there. Great pass opening up that free three-pointer.
Offensive rebound for Schaefer off the Harkins miss. And he's fouled. He'll shoot 2 at the line. Schaefer has all 4 thus far in the second half, an offensive rebound to boot, and 2 foul shots coming up for the nearly 80% foul shooter.
Yeah, just continuing to be strong inside, knowing, hey, this is my time. This is my time to impose my will on the game. That's what he's done to start this second half.
They called that a non-shooting foul, which is a mistake, but nonetheless, Schaefer with a finish. With the right hand through contact, Landry Kosmalski wanted a foul shot to accompany it.
Doing it again right there that time, using a little finesse. Soft bank off the glass and letting it roll home.
And Swarthmore will get a steal. A foul called as well. Number 33, Josh Aruda, picked it up as he carried to the floor. Timeout called by Kevin Curley. That's the second personal on Aruda as they head to the bench to talk about this for a full timeout. But Swarthmore has come out with the energy early on. That absolutely was a foul. I understand why Kosmalski wanted it. But Swarthmore in control. Another look at Aruda, kind of clipping Harkins on his way by.
I mean, talk about the effort from Harkins in this game. Shots not falling for him so far in this one. 0 for 3 from beyond the arc. But the hustle plays, the rebounding, 4 rebounds for the guy who we know as a spot-up shooter, but this time getting involved underneath the glass. And then really, as always, we don't always appreciate the sort of hustle plays, the little things, chasing down loose balls, but those are things that Harkins does so well, and he's been making his presence felt in that regard in this one.
Nate Schaefer did not have his best first half. That's how he got things started here in the second, and then finished 2 more times. We'll get a look at the second one here. All 6 of his points have come in the first 2 minutes and 7 seconds of the second half. And I love the adjustment coming out of the break, and the senior deciding it's my time here in one of my final games in regular season play on this floor. Swarthmore leads by 11. Schaefer again. Spins baseline. Defender stays with them, but what a finish! Did a pirouette on the strong side block.
The way that McDaniel was able to limit that in the first half was by getting the double team, have Keneally come over, so he just didn't have the space to make that turn. But when you give him the ability to spin like that, he's so good at just finding the slightest sliver of space and slipping through the basket.
Nice job by Caleb Johnson. A distribution to open up that look at the weak side block. Schaefer, it's his afternoon. What a second half he has. All 10 points early on in the second half for the Garnet. And Visconti picks up a foul in the backcourt going for the steal.
Schaefer just has a unique ability to take over games. 10 points now for the big man, or pardon me, 8 points for the big man. All of them just coming in a spurt right here. And we're seeing aggressive defense for the Garnet. That time Visconti going for the steal, but really aggressive with their double teams and their traps right near half court.
By the way, I think it is 10 for Nate Schaefer, and they just came back. I was going to say, I thought he had all 5 buckets here in the second half. It's been unbelievably impressive, Jacob. And Abasala gets the steal. Contact, and he'll shoot 2 at the line. Josh Sproul called for the foul.
Yeah, you just see the intensity right now of this Garnet team. Sure, I imagine the coaching staff weren't particularly satisfied with what they were seeing out of the Garnet's performance in the first half, but also the players, I imagine, not happy. You know, we saw Schaefer a little bit frustrated by the kind of contact that was being allowed in the first half. In the second half, he's saying, all right, if you're going to make contact with me, I'm just going to go stronger through that.
Salah will shoot the second. And hits both. 15-point lead for Swarthmore.
These are the kinds of runs that Garnet can go on, taking a sliver of daylight and just busting it wide open as they're starting to do in the second.
I also think it's night and day, the level of intensity in the second half here, Jacob. Perhaps they did just come out the least bit flat. Took this McDaniel team for granted. Need to keep this level of intensity for the next 16 minutes, as it's a good finish by Mike Wallace.
Impressive right there. Salah had his hand draped all over the shot and using the space.
Wow, tough call there. They're going to say he extended the elbow. Looked to me like Aruda 1 went down early and 2 was in the restricted area. Let's get one more look. Certainly was in the area. Didn't see any big elbow throw, and I think that's a missed call. I talked about being predetermined in the first half. Schaefer with a move. I thought that time that Aruda was predetermined. How about that pass? Abbas Salah. Dig, set, kill. Thank you very much. They play volleyball here as well, Jacob.
Hey, somebody's got to find him a spot on the volleyball team. That's for sure.
Aruda hits that one, and a good answer from McDaniel. Here's Michael Caprice, the freshman, with a touch. Ingram pops open for 3 and hits. Ryan Ingram for 3. Timeout called, Kevin Curley. It's a man who knows when the moment is his. Ryan Ingram, he's hit so many big shots here at Swarthmore. That feels like a big momentum shift. Another look at that pass from Salah as well. How good is that?
3 timeouts right here from Coach Curley early on. He knows that the time is now. If he has a chance to turn things around, if McDaniel is going to turn this game around, as the Garnet have busted this lead open, 16 points now. It has to be right now, and see him yelling down on the sideline, of course, trying to get his guys fired up and trying to get them to work their way back into this one, but just demoralizing the kind of runs that the Garnet can go on.
Swarthmore has scored 17 points here in less than 5 minutes, a 26-point output in the first half alone. I would hazard a guess that they're going to score more than 26 here in the second. It's just been a total reversal of the momentum and the intensity with which they're playing. That Abasala pass is one of my favorite plays that I've seen all year. I call games for Swarthmore as well as LaSalle basketball and other institutions in the area. And across any level of basketball, that is one of my favorite plays of the year thus far.
Yeah, I mean, watching it live, I thought it was just a missed catch on his part that luckily got to Shaw. But looking at the replay, clear the intent in that one. So impressive to have the presence of mind for the touch pass.
What a finish that is by Josh Aruda, the 6'1 sophomore, unafraid through the contact over the big. And a foul called in the backcourt against McDaniel. One more look here. A little chuck with the lower body to create some space, and a nice job by Aruda.
And that's the fourth foul already on Sproul, so that's going to send him to the bench for a while. Fourth foul as well on McDaniel. So they're ticking up pretty early here and giving the Garnet a chance to start shooting free throws pretty early in the second half.
You also have to question him being on the floor at that point with the 3 fouls. D'Angelo as the lane opens up.
His vision is just so good for a freshman because that space, right, it doesn't look like that when he initially sees it. He sees just sort of a thin sliver of daylight, realizes that things are about to open up, and just attacks, and as it spreads out, finds his way into the seam.
Another look at D'Angelo's finish. The miscommunication there from McDaniel. Mike Wallace, who turned it over, will sit down. Stephen Lang on in his place. Harkins is fouled and will shoot 3 at the line. That's what he'll do to you, Jacob. So just unbelievable from the outside and can be such a tough force out there. You got to close out quick, and a bit too strong from Lang. Picks up his second.
The willingness to shoot with a guy right on his side, that's the danger of him. Even when the shots aren't necessarily falling, the chance that, you know, he'll just fire whenever he wants, and if you're a defender, you could be caught helpless there.
To your point, they haven't fallen thus far for Connor Harkins. Those are his first 2 points of the afternoon. Connor Harkins, 3 for 3 from the line. It's 48-29. Swarthmore clearly with this full court pressure trying to speed up this McDaniel team, a team that was able to play at their own pace in the first half. The other thing that helps with that, Jacob, is making shots as a block is called against Connor Harkins. Making shots allows you to set up with that 94-foot full court defense.
Yeah, but one of the reasons the offensive output was so low for the Garnet was just because McDaniel was consistently going into the final 2-3 seconds of the shot clock and just purely limiting the number of possessions that the Garnet had. I mean, the shooting numbers, they weren't great. They weren't terrible, but just limited number of possessions to actually do something with.
No doubt about it. Yeah, 38% from the field in the first half, a bit below their season average. 16 on the shot clock, but you're right, just not a lot of possessions to begin with. Only 29 field goal attempts for Swarthmore. What a wild shot that was, but a finish. Hanging out on the weak side, Josh Aruda.
Yeah, just left him alone down there, and once it went up, easy for him.
George Visconti for 3 puts Swarthmore up 20. Just a little more than 7 minutes into the second half, and Swarthmore has scored 25 points. A blocking foul called against Harkins. That is a difficult call to make, and it was right in front of the official. Very little contact, a little arm bar from the offensive player as well, and Landry Guzmalski none too pleased.
I mean, Harkins clearly demonstrating there that he felt that there was that push-off. Again, I thought he had pretty good position just staying on the hip there, but
Nate Schaefer giving the crazy eyes on the inbound. That would distract me. Caleb Johnson is a better man than I. Tell you what, I've never thought about that as a tactic. That was pretty good. Schaefer stone-faced until the whistle put it into play.
Yeah, I mean, he was creeping up towards the 5 seconds.
Foul called against Zach Odell. Just 1 second left on the shot clock as that one went up, Jacob. Greg Scarborough, the sophomore, to the line for 2.
Anytime you just start to break verticality, get into the arms there, as Odell did on Scarborough, it's going to be an easy call, and instead bailing them out right at the end of the clock.
A 47% foul shooter and limited sample size regresses to that mean, 1 of 2 from the line. And there's a grab. Stephen Lang asking for the foul call against Connor Harkins, saying that he was grabbing him. Tough to imagine that as a guy trying to get open. That's the 3rd against Stephen Lang.
Yeah, has his arm basically around his neck.
12:09 to play. Second half, Swarthmore will inbound. Underneath their offensive basket, that's 16 fouls against McDaniel. Wallace will check in, replacing Lang. Odell with the catch. Floor spaces out for him. Good footwork and finish. And Swarthmore has put more points on the board in the first 8 minutes of the second half than they did in the entire first half. Pulled away, last touched by Ingram. Great double team right off the inbound. Another look at the finish from Zach Odell.
And since those last couple minutes of the second half, overall, it's a 36-11 turnaround by the Garnet, and they've done it basically in 10 minutes.
Ten seconds. And Che Colbert had no idea. Did that seem quick to you? Certainly. The reason is because with the new rules just a few years ago, that initial steal does not reset it doesn't reset the shot clock certainly, but even the 10-second. So even though 2, maybe 3, 4 seconds came off when Ingram knocked that ball out of bounds, they still needed to get it across in 7 seconds. And I think there was a lack of a realization there from McDaniel. Odell, offensive foul. And Josh Aruda, give him credit. He is not afraid to go in there. I think he has a good feel for when to go down. Again, I don't know that that's an offensive foul, but nonetheless, he recognized the time to go down and indeed did it.
I agree with you there. Not that much contact, it looked like, initiated before he went down, but saw the bull rush from Odell, and realized that, so you know, Odell with about a 6-inch height advantage wasn't necessarily going to be able to take him one-on-one. Has to use a little bit of defensive finesse, so to speak, there.
That's the third personal against Zach Odell. Aruda through traffic. Wild shot that goes. Good left-handed finish, and Aruda has been impressive.
And the fact that that technical didn't count as a personal, obviously a big point here because it's the third versus the fourth personal on Odell.
10:48 to play. Visconti pops open for three. A little short there. And last touch by McDaniel as Connor Harkins poked it away from Caleb Johnson.
It's the hustle right there again from Harkins, just able to force it and force another possession for the Garnet.
Ball will be put back in play in front of the Swarthmore bench. D'Angelo directs traffic, and here's Ingram with it. Schaefer with 8. Pounds his way in, good finish. Scooting underneath the basket.
Once again, using that size and forcing a lane through Aruda, and it was either get out of the way or get some hurting from Nate Schaefer.
There's a high ball screen, a double screen as Colbert looks for help. Wallace with 12. Wallace, a good finish. Very calm as he made his way to the block. $19-point lead for Swarthmore here at home, better than halfway gone in the second half. Shaw with 13 to shoot. That side of the floor is wide open for him as he comes to a jump stop. Visconti, it's taken away from him, and a foul is going to be called against George Visconti. Not a strong pass there towards Visconti, and he was in trouble the whole way. That's Swarthmore's 7th team foul, the third on George Visconti, and foul shots upcoming. The front end of the 1-and-1 for Greg Scarborough, the 47% foul shooter. And that one's no good. It went off the back iron. Visconti inside. He lost it. Somehow got it over to Ingram. That probably was a carry that wasn't called. Curley's asking for 3 seconds. Now 3 seconds. On the shot clock, Shaw puts it in. And we get a stoppage. And we got a flop warning called against Greg Scarborough as well. But what a shot that was from Colin Shaw. He needed it in the final seconds. Get a look at Schaefer's bucket just a minute ago.
It should be a technical, I believe.
Yeah, it's the second one. That's right. So it'll be Colin Shaw to shoot. A technical called against McDaniel for 2 successive flop warnings. And that is another one of those Class B technicals. Very similar to hanging from the rim. That's the most common Class B technical that we talked about to begin the second half here. Odell picked one up in the first half, not for hanging from the rim, but from plucking the ball away while the inbounder was still out of bounds. which does not count against a personal foul total for any player. Aruda, good back cut, beat Ingram to the spot.
That was a beautiful pass right there from Johnson, threaded it through a real tight window, and then Aruda in position goes for the reverse.
Schaefer, inside he spins, couldn't get it over the front rim, and here comes Wallace the other way. Johnson finds Scarborough, back iron no, and the rebound down to Vinny D'Angelo. This pace is certainly more to Swarthmore's liking. 2 shots at the lineup coming for Vinny D'Angelo.
Again, D'Angelo showing the ability, the willingness to slash to the cup and drawing lots of contact there in the process.
I've been so impressed this season with Vinny D'Angelo and the role that he has been able to take on. 5 assists here today, 7 points. He's picked up 2 rebounds and has made a takeaway as well in the form of a steal. Hits 2 at the line here. Swarthmore in full control here at home in the second half, a 22-point lead. And already 34 points on the board, a little bit better than 11 minutes into the second half.
That Nate Schaefer barrage right at the beginning is a knockout punch of sorts, right? Just putting McDaniel on their backs early on, and the Garnet have not let up the onslaught since, that's for sure.
This is the Garnet Sports Network. It's live here on YouTube and through the SwarthmoreAthletics.com website. For more information, you can follow them on Twitter at SWAT Athletics, on Facebook at Swarthmore Athletics, and then, of course, on Instagram at SWAT Athletics as well. That's where you can stay involved with the whole Swarthmore family. Programming updates about us here on Swarthmore's Garnet Sports Network, GSN, and much more. And that's the place you want to be. You want to have all these on your docket, because what you could have with a good finish of the year, Jacob, is a host of the Centennial Conference Tournament. This NCAA-bound team could host 1, potentially 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament based upon their performance and geographic considerations. And you're going to want to see all of that and follow this team's run throughout the month of March. Should be a good time. Bit of a change as well, Jacob, in the NCAA tournament function and how the calendar date's set up. The first 2 weekends are going to be a little bit different. The first weekend's mostly the same. On the campus of a team, round of 64, round of 32. Then the next weekend will be 1 Sweet 16 matchup. So you only get down to the Final 8 on that second weekend. And then the weekend after that, they're going to go to Fort Wayne, Indiana, play the Elite 8 and the Final 4, take a 2-week break, and the national championship at the D3 level will take place on the Sunday in Atlanta in between the Final 4 for the D1 level and the national championship game that following Monday night. So that should be a really fun wrinkle to the D3 NCAA tournament. We certainly still hope to be able to join you guys here from Tarble Pavilion for 1 or more games of a potential run for Swarthmore.
Yeah, but definitely helps spread out some real exciting D3 basketball action. Can keep your plate filled with it really until April.
D'Angelo on the baseline. Here's Harkins with 17 to shoot. Salah inside. Odell goes right to work, keeps the pivot foot. Salah launches for 3. Odell with a big rebound. Goes right up and is fouled. Great job of recognition by Zach Odell, not to put that on the floor, Jacob.
Yeah, you see there just recognizing that he has that contact all over his back from Keneally and just strong upwards.
In fact, that's one where maybe even Odell would tell you if I time that a little bit better, I might be able to take that off the rebound and slam it all in one motion. But most importantly, like I said, you don't want to put that on the turf at any point there. You're already where you need to be. There's little guys in the area. Don't bring it down to them. Go right back up, and that coerced the foul call. And he hits 2 at the line. Michael Caprice, Ryan Ingram check in for Zach Odell and Vinny D'Angelo. Good catch there by Caleb Johnson. Full court pressure from Swarthmore. Under 7 to play. And Swarthmore in full control, up 24 here at home. Wallace, too much heat on that one, and Ryan Ingram the extra effort. Ingram too strong. Shaw brings it down, and it's Swarthmore basketball. Big smile on Ingram's face. He knew he had to get that up quick. There's a 6'8" Keneally coming down, bearing down on him, trying to swat that into the next county.
Either way, just coming up with the steal on the other end. Impressive defense, just playing shifty, staying on his toes, and seeing the window to poke that ball away.
Seven to shoot for Colin Shaw. Salah, a pull-up, no good. Caprice on the follow. Shot clock did reset as it hit the base of the rim and allowed Caprice the time to put it back up.
It's a good job by him, just coming flying in, recognizing that that shot was going to be short on the other side of the basket, picking out his place, getting there completely uncontested, and then easy finish for him.
Caprice playing good defense underneath. Wallace will hoist a 3 and get it to fall. Good roll off the front rim. And a giveaway. Colbert, a Euro step. No good on the finish.
Salah tried to get a little too fancy with his handle that time, but then makes up for it on the other side, staying vertical on defense.
Shaw, corner 3, good. The assist from Abbas Salah, penetrating the middle of the defense. The defender collapses, and the sophomore Colin Shaw knocking it down from deep.
Balanced scoring for the Garnet throughout this game, and especially in the second half. Visconti leading the way with 15, but then Colin Shaw with that 3. 13 points for him, 12 for Nate, and 10 for Zach as well. So balanced attack. Vinny D'Angelo's got 8 as well to his name. So just everybody on the floor contributing a bit for the Garnet in this one.
Next up for this Swarthmore team, they will travel to Chestertown, Maryland to take on Washington College. That is a team that Swarthmore dispatched of earlier in the year, 68-56 on this home floor. Then they'll head to Gettysburg, take on the Bullets of Gettysburg College. And then a quick homestand, Muhlenberg College on the 6th of February, Franklin and Marshall on the 8th of February. And then the big one on the road at Johns Hopkins. The Jays have still only lost the 1 game, so if Swarthmore remains unbeaten, Hopkins remains unbeaten. That could certainly be a battle for what would be a tie for first place with a Hopkins win, and Swarthmore could they would clinch the conference with a win in that game, as long as there are no losses in between, and of course a long way to go there. But any type of 2-game cushion going into that one would actually just about clinch it, not mathematically, but Swarthmore would need 1 win thereafter to clinch the conference regular season title. Again, too many big games in between now and then to really be talking about that. It's a deep conference, and anything can happen on any given evening.
Yeah, Haverford as well, looming in that final midweek game, 7-2. They stand.
There's a foul called against Shaw. And a little bit extra there from Greg Scarborough That's not particularly called for. It's clearly a foul against Shaw. Got blocked a little bit there. And there's the tail end of it, and he actually pushed off on Shaw. No technical fouls. I think I'm okay with that, but the conversation occurring right at the right-hand side of your screen between both the official and his head coach, essentially to say, that's it.
And actually an interesting one going on over in Haverford right now. It's Johns Hopkins 80, Haverford 79 with 7 seconds left. So depending on how that one actually turns out, could have big implications the rest of the way.
Gonna get dueling streams up here. Anybody got 2 TVs in the family room? Don't turn us off, that's all I ask. 4:51 to play, Swarthmore a 26-point lead. Here's Visconti, gets to the foul line, loves that spot and hits it.
Yeah, so proficient in the mid-range. Talked about at the NBA level how you want to replace those mid-range twos with three-pointers, but impressive knockdown ability. Shaw as well.
Couldn't finish everything but. Tucker up the floor, 23 on the shot clock. No good. And McDaniel back the other way, 4 minutes to play. Pull up, too strong there, and Caprice brings it down. Here's Caprice at the top of the key. Tucker is open for 3, a little short there. Gliding through the lane, and Tucker got the block from behind. Tucker hasn't seen a ton of time here today, but bringing energy off the bench. Shaw inside, no, there's the follow by Tucker. And a big day for him in limited action off the bench. Shaw got a steal. And Swarthmore will reset under 3 minutes to go. A 30-point lead. Visconti is fouled. Scarborough picks it up. 2 coming at the line.
Yeah, but this has just been clinical for the Garnet in the second half. Defensively, we see the block from Tucker on one end, and then coming back the other with the tip, and finally the steal from Shaw. Great sequence from the Garnet, showing how they've taken control of this game in the second half.
I think our boys over at Haverford lost the feed, Jacob, in the last time out of the game, at least the way I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
I hope that's not the case. We'll keep following that up, as that game has major implications for what's going on here today. Colin Shaw, Micah Caprice check out. Peter Fago's in the game. Alec White in there as well. Visconti hits the foul shot. He will check out. And in comes Jared Groff. Some of the fan favorites around here. Great to see these guys getting some action.
And his dad making the trip down from Boston, sitting right in front of us.
And there is Groff with a steal. Groff comes up with it. They were begging Peter Fago to take the shot. Groff turnaround. Too strong. Fago with a rebound. Trying to find a way to get it to some of these guys. Tucker on the drive, rises and hits. Nicely done from Justin Tucker, making a campaign for a bit more time going forward, provides a real spark off the bench.
Yeah, great job keeping his pivot that time, realizing that he had to go up right near the end of the shot clock and just soft touch within a couple feet of the basket.
Six to shoot. Step back, tough shot, no good. Tucker had it, and it's thrown off him and out of bounds. It'll stay with McDaniel. Good strength in there by Quinn Kinnock, the sophomore. First time we've seen him today as well. Julian Levin checks in, replacing Justin Tucker. T.J. Chapman in as well, replacing Abbas Salah. .17 on the shot clock. Turnaround, fadeaway, no good. Levin brings down the rebound. Fago with 17 to shoot. Levin wants the ball. What a cut there. Alec White hits the shot. What great passing. Tic-tac-toe, Levin to Fago to White.
And this is the kind of passing that's coming out of the bench squad.
Gotta love that, Jacob.
Giving the starters a run for their money.
Hand check there as Chapman extends both arms. Another look at Alec White dropping dimes from about 13 feet away. First one is good from Wallace. And a few more subs here for Swarthmore. They go deep, no doubt about that. Major Eason into the game. Chuck Sweat, great name if I may say. George Corzine, who plays on the tennis team here as well at Swarthmore. And Corzine and Levin able to bring that one down.
And so the final from Haverford is Hopkins 80, Haverford 79. So Hopkins remains with their lone loss in the conference at the hands of Swarthmore.
Chuck Sweat, an NBA range three. The loudest roar of the afternoon. Here's a drive into the lane, contact, count it, and one. 20.9 left on the clock. Another look at Sweat's dial from distance. Swarthmore, 26 points in the first half, Jacob. 54 here in the second. Change in tempo, the difference. Change in intensity, I think Landry Kosmalski would say as well.
They decide to play at their pace, imposing their will on the game. They came out as we sat and just fed Nate Schaefer underneath, put him in attack mode, and sure did he deliver right at the beginning there, and that set the tone for the entire half that would follow.
Swarthmore, big win here over McDaniel, a second half to remember. They remain the number one team in the country, you would think, for another week, undefeated, and the number one team at the top of the rankings in the standings here in the Centennial Conference. Nice effort here in the final 20. A lot to build off heading down to Chestertown, Maryland this Wednesday to take on Washington College.
Definitely could end up as an interesting game. Washington led, believe it was 36-28 after the first half in their game back in December here at Tarbowl Pavilion, and definitely could make it competitive down in Maryland. But, of course, the Garnet, in that game, they were able to turn it around, and they did the same right here. See Nate Schaefer playing with a gaggle of children down on the court as he finally makes his way off. But, you know, that man deserves to have some fun after this one. Again, just the Garnet put the keys in his hands, so to speak, and he really delivered as he has throughout this season for this team. Garnet, you know, just got to control what you can, and that's what they did in the second half.
Well, certainly, there's no doubt about that. 70% shooting here in the second half, 20 for 29. Held McDaniel to 38% shooting in the second half. As a team, they got it all the way up to 53% after a very difficult first half shooting the ball. Led by George Visconti. He had 19 points here today, a tremendous effort there. Nate Schaefer with 12, all in the second half. Odell had 10 as well. 13 for Colin Shaw. Really nice effort from this team, Jacob.
Yeah, overall, it's just a balanced attack. It's everybody contributing. You know, we've said a couple times, yeah, this team, sure, they had a couple preseason All-Americans, and obviously those guys having big games, 12 points for Schaefer, 6 rebounds as well. Again, Odell in double digits, as you just said. But it's the balance across the board. It's the fact that everybody's contributing. It's a freshman stepping up, playing a big-time role at point guard in Vinny D'Angelo. It's everybody doing little things. On a day when Connor Harkin's shot wasn't falling, he said, okay, well, he drew a big foul for 3 shots early on in that second half, and then, of course, just constantly fighting and battling underneath the basket, forcing a lot of second-chance opportunities for the Garnet.
A good win here for Swarthmore. They win 80-44 over McDaniel, a game that will look great in the box score from a second-half perspective. First half was quite difficult, 26-21. McDaniel got Swarthmore out of sorts, out of their rhythm, and what a response from the number 1 team in the country coming out of the second half. Should be a fun run down the stretch, a conference race on the line, a lot in terms of NCAA tournament implications, and then, of course, the undefeated season and the reign at the top. Wire to... Will it be wire to wire? We'll find out over the course of the next few weeks. Jacob, should be fun.
Indeed, yeah. Lots to look forward to. Of course, big games down the stretch, you know. Gettysburg playing so well at the beginning of the season. Another potential challenge that looms. There's a lot of great basketball still left to be played. Hopefully about 2 months, so more.
We'll be with you every step of the way. Bob Long, Jacob Brady saying so long here from Tarbell Pavilion. The Access to Success game and a Hoops for Hope fundraiser that has done great. Many thanks to all the folks that have helped out with that, especially assistant coach Ryan Ansler, who really kick-started the whole thing. Hope everybody has a great rest of their Saturday and weekend. For Jacob Brady, I'm Bob Long. Daya helping us out producing. So long here, and we'll see everybody next time.